Hey everyone, I hope that you're doing well and that you had a great weekend. Today is the beginning of Unit 6 in our Intro to Historical Study class. I'm enjoying reading through your final comments on the 24th Infantry documents exercise. I'll also be catching up on those of you who submitted that exercise within the past several days. Um, if you're a little behind, again, that's okay. Just keep plugging away where you're at. Um, I'm really having, again, I'm enjoying your insights on doing archival research and the obstacles and limitations that we're faced with when we have to do that online, the way that we're doing right now. I'm also very interested in your comments on what was missing from the documents. A few of you have pointed out in responses to some of the comments I left for you in your conversations with each other on Medium and in your final posts that we never heard from the 24th Infantry. Um, we never heard from the people of Columbus, besides the mayor and village trustees and the cashier of the bank. Those are prominent citizens, but did they really represent the feelings of most of the other town residents? We don't know for sure, based on the information that we have. So, something that among the many, many takeaways from this exercise in terms of methods, in terms of the work that goes into historical research and creating secondary sources, we can also kind of take away the idea that bureaucratic investigations don't always take all perspectives into account. And there are a number of reasons for that. Of course, an investigation could drag on almost indefinitely if we were trying to find every single comment or perspective from everyone in the community or somehow related to an issue. But it's something to think about in terms of what the limitations are around similar kinds of things that might take place now. It makes us think about how our voices might be counted or not, depending on whether or not we're willing to participate in public comments on legislation or public responses to issues that are taking place in our own communities. Looking at Unit 6, this one covers just 2 weeks, so we'll spend 2 weeks on Unit 6. Today begins the first week of that unit. We will be thinking about how to write effective research questions. And it's not as straightforward as you might think. So, this week's activities will take us through some exercises that will help us think about the ways that research questions might limit what we're able to figure out or limit the range of possibilities for the projects that we're wanting to do. And again, we're all imagining that we're historians doing historical research. That's what we'll be doing for the rest of the class, and that's what the final project is framed around. You're able to choose a topic for the final project that relates to any interests that you have. So really, the sky is the limit. If that's a little bit intimidating, let me know, and I'll help you narrow down some of your ideas. To create a good research question, you have to have an idea of what your topic will be, what you want to be researching, and then you can decide, how am I going to frame the research that I'm doing? What am I going to ask about it? What do I want to know, and why? You're also going to want to ask an analytical rather than an explanatory question, and there's some information about what the difference is in the unit narrative. So this first week, then, you'll be reading through those things, watching a video or two, and then responding to a couple of questions on Twitter, and you'll be completing an exercise via a Google form that's embedded in the unit narrative. That Google form exercise asks you to think about a few examples of research questions that I wrote up and evaluate them. Whether or not they're strong research questions, and if they're not, what would they need to actually become strong research questions? So hopefully all of this will help us help set us up for next week, when you will need to kind of decide on a topic. And I say it that way because you're not locked into a topic. If you go along and you're doing some work on the topic you've chosen and you find out that it's not really going to work, you're not going to be able to find enough sources, or you're just not that interested anymore, but you found something else, it's okay to move on to something else. So keep that in mind too as you're choosing for the final project. But what we're doing again in Unit 6 is just choosing that topic And by the end of the second week, and I'll say more about this next week, you will write your own research question. So that's the kind of goal of our work for this 2-week period, is to be very thoughtful about what should go into a research question and to write those for our projects. All right, I will leave you with that. I hope you have a good week. And as always, please let me know if you have questions, you need help, or anything else relative to the class.